Okay, here we are. This is the third of 3 videos on how to warm up on the guitar. This is for more advanced players or advanced students, so if this is way too over your head, way too difficult, go back to the first 2 videos and start tackling those exercises and then come back here. Again, this should be challenging for any of you, so if it's challenging, don't leave me yet. Keep working at it, but if it's way too over your head, again, go back to the first 2. So we're going to use the same approach as we've been using. We're going to assign 1 finger per fret. We're going to do alternate picking with the right hand. And we've explored now subdividing this quarter note into different subdivisions. We have the quarter note triplet, the eighth note triplet, the 16th. And we mentioned last time that starts to create an oddity in our ears when we start to hear groups of 3, especially that triplet, the 8th note triplet, quarter note triplet, against this grouping of 4 that we're playing, right? So we're playing in groups of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But now we're playing over that where we have groups of 3 happening, okay? So we mentioned that is odd for the ears to hear, and it's even more odd to play. I'm going to keep going further in that direction and make it even a little more difficult. But I think it's very helpful, and it really helps lock in the feel of the triplet against the quarter note. Is we're going to emphasize every 3rd note now, okay? So we're going to emphasize that triplet pattern that's running over this group of 4, okay? So we have the quarter notes going here, but let's emphasize every 3rd note. So we're going to emphasize this triplet feel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so things start happening that are really odd to feel and to hear is that now you're starting to have to emphasize notes that your ring finger is on or your middle finger is on, which is completely unnatural. We're used to emphasizing more so notes that are our index fingers playing, right? And we're emphasizing downstrokes and never upstrokes. And this is going to break all those barriers and get us used to playing accents with notes that lie under our pinky or our ring finger. And it's also getting us to accent notes on an upstroke rather than always on a downstroke. So this does a lot of things to kind of expand your vocabulary, your dexterity, your hearing, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and start where we started last time with the tempo. The tempo is at 125, and I'm going to show you what it sounds like to start emphasizing this triplet pattern. So we have the quarter note going, 1, 2, 3. Okay, but now we're going to play 8th notes, 8th note triplets. So okay, but now I'm going to emphasize that triplet pattern. Okay, this is really odd. Hopefully I can do this cleanly. So here we go. Let's try it. Okay, good job. It was very clean, fairly even, and that probably doesn't sound like much, but when you're doing it over a group of 4, it's very, very challenging. So tackle that for the next step. See if you can start articulating those triplets, some of those other subdivisions, and you'll really start getting a feel for how those lie under your fingers, and it starts to, again, open up a whole nother level of playing for you. The next thing I want to do, just do a couple of examples of pushing the tempo up for this exercise. And again, we want to keep the basic things in mind. We want it to be clean. We want it to be even. But once you start getting a handle on these things, let's start pushing the tempo up. Not because we want to play every song at an insane tempo, but just the more we can raise that threshold of what our muscles are used to, what our dexterity allows at the time, the more we can raise that threshold, the more comfortable we will be at more humane tempos. So let's go ahead and try a couple different versions. We're at 125. Let's go up to 150 beats per minute and continue this exercise at that tempo. So I'm not going to do the triplet articulations here. I'm just going to do these subdivisions, and we'll keep up in the tempo until we start to fall apart. So here we go. Use our quarter notes. I'm coming up on quarter note triplets. Eighth notes. Eighth note triplets. Okay, and sixteenths. Let's try it one more time. Okay, so there we have that. Let's go back, let's go up a little bit. Let's try 175, and I'll just do this until I fall apart. And once you start to fall apart, that's when you draw the tempo back and work it a little lower. So here we go. Let's see what happens here. Quarters. Quarter note triplets. Eighth notes. Eighth note triplets. Okay, now sixteenths. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay, good. Let's try 190. Just for fun. Okay, so same thing applies. I'm going to go, I probably won't be able to do this clean, especially when we get to the 16ths, but let's see what happens. So, quarter notes. Quarter note triplets. Okay, eighth notes. Eighth note triplets. Okay, now sixteenths. Okay, one more time. Close, but that's the basic idea. Keep raising that threshold until it's at an insane level. Once it stops getting clean, bring it back down, and I think you'll really have a lot of fun with that. There's a lot of possibilities there.